As a Tucker Solar sales rep, part of my plan in the future is to start creating unboxing videos, reviews, all that good stuff. We do a lot of the subscribe and save through our Tucker website, so keep an eye out for that. Whether it's filters, resin, sediment filters, you can get those on a subscribe and save method or an option where if it's every month, every 2 months, every 6 months, you want those to come instead of having to continuously order those, you can do that on the website. But let's do our Tucker Screen Cleaner unboxing. This will be our first unboxing as a Tucker sales rep. Won't be the last. Next video I plan to do is the Tucker rinse bar, in specifically the rinse bar. Instead of a deep dive into different brushes, I want to talk about how versatile, how it could be used on different brushes. You can actually make it on your own or use the rinse bar on your own custom brush. But for now, let's get into this. If I can do this with one hand. I plan to also get a backdrop and start doing some good studio stuff for our podcast. There we go. Let's see if I can pull it out one hand. One thing I've noticed between this and the XERO Screen Cleaner is this box was a lot heavier, which means that with any of the other Tucker products that I enjoy, it's going to be a lot more robust, a lot more sturdier, not all flimsy. Oh, and I managed to get it out with one hand. Nice and vacuum sealed, or not vacuum sealed, but packed nicely. I like how it has a slim design. And once I open it up, we'll get into some of the details. Now, after the unboxing and I get into the unpacking, there's already a few things that I noticed that I'm going to like with this screen cleaner in general. With the XERO Screen Cleaner, it's a great cleaner for what it provides. You know, it's a great starting point on a screen cleaner unit. But I feel like between the legs and how floppy and flimsy the legs can get, they can get tightened down over time and they just start getting looser and looser when you're trying to clean. Another thing that this has is you can just see how really built this is with the fittings, the proper hose clamp fittings with proper lines. This copper line, instead of running with on the XERO, you got the plastic tube, hard tubing that goes through it, and it just kind of moves around over time. And this ain't going nowhere. You got a copper line right here, 1/2 inch line that's just solid as steel. And so these are the first couple things that I see right before I even open it that I'm going to enjoy is those. And this is why the price has to be justifiable, right? And this shows you why it is because of the hard line plumbing. You got, just like I said, again, you know, on the XEROs, it's just a bunch of smaller plastic fittings. You have solid brass fittings right here with hose clamps that are nice and just nice and heavy. So let's get this unwrapped. I'm going to start dissecting this. We'll turn it on. We'll go from there. As you can see, this is kind of some of the stuff that we have on our bench as we go through our videos and our podcasts. I'll have various things as those videos come leading up to those. We'll have them out. So for instance, I did talk about the rinse bar in the previous clip. We will be discussing just custom brushes and utilizing that rinse bar. Shout out to Window Magic Supply. Go support your local window supply house. We've been loving the new Orange Crush, and recently, I don't know why it took us this long, but we are now using Window Magic Supply for all of our stuff, go-to products. And as a business, we always are a big advocate of the community and supporting them. So Pacific Solar Care, we this year sponsored my son's team for pony baseball, got the big banner on the baseball field so the whole season, got the plaque. So not only does that feel good, but it also helps your reputation throughout the community. All right, let's get to it. All right, so with every standard unboxing review you get video, you're going to get where we show you all the parts that come out of the box, right out of the box, before we do any kind of installation or whatever it is we need to do to get it running. This is the hardware that came out of the envelope that we got. This is your step stool. This is something I also didn't mention yet that I really am excited about, is this, not a step stool, a foot pedal. And this foot pedal is an on and off valve. So again, with the XERO unit, you had a plastic univalve, or not a univalve, but an on and off valve bypass that you were able to turn off. And plastic, kind of clunky, didn't work very well. This thing is great, so I'm very excited for our techs not to have to bend over. It's a simple thing, but it just gets even easier with this. So we're talking about that price point that you have to justify. This is a game changer for me. You can really see the quality like I had mentioned earlier. You have your two legs right here, so they won't be able to fold like the XERO Screen Cleaner does, but I honestly am excited for this because it's a lot more slender. It is not as bulky, I should say. Nothing against the XERO Cleaner, but with the legs flopping around and trying to just store it, and at least in my van, and having it in a decent upright position, I'm really excited with these legs just staying out there and being able to bungee something around it and keeping it stored while we go from job to job. All right, so this is it. I'm going to start assembling it. It doesn't seem like it'll take long. Might even add some clips of that installation period, and after that we will turn on some water, get some screens through it. Also, I am looking at the bristles, and they seem to be, you know, they might be the same manufacturer of bristles with the XERO Cleaner, but I do feel like these seem to be a little stiffer, which I would prefer. It seems like with the XERO, it was a little softer bristles. And let's check out what we got here going along for our jets, our water flow that's going to be coming out cleaning the screens. All right, so let's get started with the installation process. This should only take you about 5 minutes to get going, not too difficult. We have 2 box end wrenches, 1/2 inch. We have our foot pedal. We have the 2 legs, and we have 4 washers. I already got 2 on the bolts with 2 bolts, 2 lock nuts for those bolts, and 1 nut for your foot pedal. So we'll start with the legs. And so we get that set up, then I will run a few tests with some water in the system, pull the screen from my house, see how it works. I'm sure it'll be nice though. Definitely, as I said before, really built well, and this is why I always love the Tucker products, is because of how good they're built. You know, being within an industry or a background of fabrication and welding, I do really enjoy seeing stuff made right, on top of my OCD. So we'll get that standing up. Got the nuts and bolts taken care of. Tying her up with our wrenches. Wrong side. Come on up. I'll have to flip it. There we go. Sandwich these 2 legs together with the screen frame in the middle. The lock nuts, get those nice and tight. Then we'll throw our foot pedal on there. So we've used the XERO for 4 or 5 years, no issues. We've had the same XERO. The welds on the aluminum legs, or not on the legs, but on the frame itself, they did bust once in one area, so I had to have those re-welded. Other than that though, the XERO is a great one that, you know, is a, as I said, a good price, opening price point. I want to make sure that this is where it's going to be for on and off. But when we're talking about quality, we're talking about stuff that's going to last and something that I want to stand behind. This is going to be what I'm looking for. So I don't expect any of these welds to break. I don't expect the plastic components to snap. There is no plastic components, right? So we're not gonna have that issue of hose lines. This is a copper piece, as I mentioned earlier. You got the foot pedal, which is a big game changer. You have these legs that are nice. They are not portable. However, with the legs that are also on the XERO, those get real flimsy. They want to move everywhere. So I'm really excited to get this on the floor. flow coming off that 1/2-inch pipe. Got a direct line 3/4 or 5/8 from the garden hose. There it is. Normally I get a detail towel and tap off. We finish off with the screen. Like I said in the video, or in the prior clip, what I'm most excited about is not only the foot pedal, but the jets that you have coming right here. So right when I turn that on, and there's multiple holes. So with the Zero, you have the plastic tube, and again, those holes could be left, right. There's only 3 or 4 of them, I believe, when you first start. You can see this water shooting across my sidewalk, and I mean, I'm hitting that and it's blasting. So you're gonna get a nice flow of water at a good volume. And I'm sure if you use this foot pedal, you can adjust. If you wanna crank it down a little bit, you just push that foot pedal, right? Now we got a lot less water. If you're concerned about water volume or too much water, you can really dial it down just with that foot pedal. Turn it all the way on, you got a good blast coming through.
I want to take the time to show you a side-by-side comparison and discuss any differences or similarities that we see with the Zero cleaner and the legs. You'll notice that I tap the cleaner with my foot. It was on accident, but it actually jerks the cleaner really well. And that's the stability I'm talking about with the Tucker Screen Cleaner. With the legs not moving and a wider base area, it allows you to clean the screen without having to put your foot down, unless that's for added support. I've also noticed with the Tucker Screen Cleaner that the bristles are much longer, so they cover the entire base of the screen cleaner. The Zero cleaner with the shorter bristles, you have to cover the entire area of all sides of the screen to make sure you clean it well. And what my technician has also told me is after cleaning with this Tucker cleaner several times now, that even with caked on debris, it takes care of it much more than having to use any added solutions with the Zero cleaner. I hope this helps, and we'll close out with our remarks.
So, for our final conclusion, our closing remarks, I will give a score of 8.5 out of 10. Now, the only setback that I see the Tucker Screen Cleaner has is just in terms of portability. Because the legs don't fold, retracting on some of my statements that I said earlier in terms of being bulky one versus the other. It's not that the Zero was bulky. I think my issue was I like to have things stored nice and even tight, high and tight. And so the legs would always give me a problem when wanting to store it. So in this case, the Tucker Screen Cleaner would be a little more bulky with the legs, just because you can't fold them. But for anyone that has a truck or whatever, I mean, I will get crafty and creative and make something in our van that allows us to just face it against the wall, and put a bungee around it or even hang it. It definitely lays down in the bed just fine of the van, or a truck bed too. So that's okay. So that would be my only setback for this Tucker Screen Cleaner, is that the legs just aren't foldable or portable. That's also a good thing in a sense, because with the Zero Screen Cleaner, the legs will get wobbly over time, and even as you tighten them, you tend to tighten things over and over, and every time those legs have to go and fold up and down to close them, they just loosen over time. So that's my only setback. In terms of And the other drawback, I mean, slight drawback in my opinion, is because you get what you pay for, honestly, is the price. The price is a little higher, or higher than the XERO Screen Cleaner. But I hope that in my video that I shared today, it'll show you and it'll give you a good understanding on why it is priced at what it is. Because in terms of anything that I said prior that Tucker stands behind, everything is built well. And so I hope this video, like I said right now, serves as a good tool and a good guide to determine where you want to be. But if I was to choose, I would most certainly go with the Tucker Screen Cleaner, only because of the foot pedal. Or not only because, but let me list my pros. The foot pedal is a big game changer. To have the option of being able to just turn it on and off in between each screen, or just having to bend down over time to turn off the water, that's a big plus. And then to be able to adjust the flow, because you got a good amount of flow. So the foot pedal is a big thing. The sturdiness, how it's built, is a huge thing. It is a huge thing because of just the welds. It is not aluminum, so I don't see these welds breaking anytime soon. Everything is built really well. The copper is not a plastic hard tube. It is copper that has several holes in it. That's not going to give out. So when you think of quality, the Tucker wins. If there was anything else that I can think of, I mean, obviously the bristles. I like that there's only 2 sets. I don't see you needing anything else with the water and the sets of bristles. So if you ever have to replace those bristles, you're not having to replace 4 instead of 2. You're able to carry it with the handle. So I think there's a very good amount of benefits that serve the reason why you should go Tucker. Because if you want a good quality built piece of equipment that's going to serve you longer than what I mentioned before, the XERO had to be rewelded, before whatever had to add additional holes for pressure and water. Whatever the case may be, the Tucker is ready to go right out the door, right out from the get-go. In terms of cleaning the screen, it was great. You can see the water flow in the video, that it was nice. And so yeah, 8.5 out of 10, I think, is a very fair assessment. Even being a Tucker sales rep, I still don't want to say, hey, it's a 10, hey, it's a 9. I think it has a valid reason, or it has valid benefits to call it a 8.5 out of 10. Absolutely. So everyone, I hope that you guys enjoy these videos as they come along. I will be planning to do everything Tucker related that I get my hands on, and on top of that, anything else that I feel serves a review, and a legitimate review. Because we are solar panel cleaners or window cleaners, I have my own business. And I tell my techs all the time that you need to tell me what works the best, what's the most efficient, what feels the best, what's the best on your body. So there's always things that we keep in mind when we get our products and use our tools that we purchase. So hope everyone has a great day, and we will see you and catch you on the next review. I hope that you've seen a couple of the things that were on the table, and as I mentioned earlier, would be the next reviews we do. I also have right here the glorious Honey Badger brush. I feel like with this, you can see that this was some huge extremity that we had to remove. So this was not something where it's like, okay, well, why do you have a scrubber with this? This is what I'm calling the new, well, not new, but the self-proclaimed king right now of solar panel cleaning, because you have the Honey Badger bristles, and then if you need it, because some pollen, by the time it gets 3 or 4 panels deep, you lose a little force. But either way, having this tool right here for crazy extremities like that, having the bristles of the Honey Badger with the glide bristles on the outside, big game changer. So I'll be doing a video on my house showing plenty of different clips of it in different actions and different forms.